Streaming until 7 p.m.
A Mecosta County man is facing a 5-year felony for obstruction of justice after he says he was arrested for passing out flyers on jury rights to anyone who wanted one.
Yeah, his attorney calls it outrageous. It was in court this morning for a pretrial conference when the defendant refused to take a plea deal. And Fox 17's Dana Chiklis joins us outside the Mecosta County Courthouse with the very latest tonight on the controversy.
This is the sidewalk where Keith Wood tells me he stood just days ago passing out this flyer. It's authored by the Fully Informed Jury Association, talking about jury rights, specifically a juror's right to vote their conscience. Keith tells me he was speechless when he was arrested for passing out this piece of paper.
Told me the bond. Again, I was speechless. $150,000 bond for handing out a piece of paper on a public sidewalk, and speechless.
Speechless after charging $15,000 on a credit card to post bond. Keith Wood says all he was doing was passing out this flyer on jury rights, standing on this sidewalk outside the Mecosta County Courthouse.
There's so much good information in here.
Keith faces jury tampering and obstruction of justice charges, a felony that could land him 5 years in prison. His attorney Dave Coleman says it's an attack on free speech.
It's just a blatant illegal, improper use of government power to squelch a person's constitutional rights to free speech. That's what this is.
Keith's motivation here is informing people that they have the right as a juror to vote their conscience, something also known as jury nullification of law. Essentially, it's when a jury acquits a defendant despite evidence because they either believe the law is immoral or wrongfully applied. But since the late 1800s, many judges took it out of their jury instructions.
And it's not illegal to fully inform jurors. It's just that judges don't do it anymore. And to me, I just feel like the justice system would be much better off, and we the people would be much better off if jurors were fully informed. Again.
Another bizarre piece. Last Tuesday, while passing out the flyers, Keith says the magistrate, then a deputy, came out 3 times, saying he was not being detained, but that the judge wanted to talk with him. When he says the deputy threatened to have city police arrest him, that's when Keith went inside the courthouse.
She wasn't being rough, but she was kind of corralling me, and she was touching my jacket. And so I asked her again, I said, "Am I being detained?" She goes, "No, you're not being detained." Judge Jack Levick came out of his chambers. He looked at me. He looked down the hall, didn't know who he was looking at, and then he looked back towards me and the deputy, and he said, "Arrest him for jury tampering."
Keith refused to take a plea deal and is pushing to have his charges dropped.
I truly believe in my heart of hearts I didn't do anything wrong. I didn't break the law, so they need to drop all of the charges against me.
That's why there has to be pushback. And judges and prosecutors and people need to know you cannot squelch people's free speech rights like this and get away with it. You know, he didn't do anything wrong. There's nothing illegal here.
You just heard the defense there saying this is a violation of freedom of speech. And now as for Keith, he's due back in court next week for his preliminary hearing. But I did reach out to the judge here who says he's not able to talk on an ongoing case. I just got done speaking with the county commissioner who says he's not ready to go on camera about this yet. And I did put in a call to the prosecutor's office. At this time, we have yet to hear back. For now, we're in Mecosta County. Dana Chiklis, Fox 17 News.
Well, an organization in Florida asking for help this holiday season after they say there's a shortage of wreaths.
Aaron Mesmer tells us how just one Christmas wreath can go a long